Hello, and thank you for joining our STEM academic strategy, setting yourself up for success. Brought to you by our MESA STEM Academic Success Center. My name is Angelica Vioki, and I'm a counselor here in our center. All right, so we're going to be talking about academic success in STEM and setting the stage. So as you might have already discovered, your STEM education is very demanding and rigorous. So it's really important that when you start any given semester, that you really evaluate your attitude, where you're at, and making sure that you are going in with a positive attitude, okay? You want to make sure that you're embracing the rigor. There is going to be challenging weeks. There's going to be challenging material that you're going to be covering. But find the joy in this material that you're taking in. Make it exciting. Look at the positive of everything that you're learning. Keep your goals in mind to help keep you motivated. And it's so important that you begin to take responsibility for your learning. You're no longer in high school anymore. As you transition, if you're a new college student, or as you have gone through the high school to college transition, you will have noticed that the expectations of you are a little bit different than what you experience in high school. Your instructors want you to be successful. They are here to support you through this journey. They are here to facilitate and serve as a resource for you as you go through their coursework. However, they are not responsible for your learning. It's important that, if you find a material challenging, or if you're having a hard time understanding a lesson, that you reach out for support either to your instructor, to the tutors. If you have embedded tutors in your class, you want to make sure that you're tapping into all of your resources and maximizing your learning in and outside of the classroom. Be willing to research topics on your own, participate in learning experiences outside the classroom, and seek knowledge in your discipline. Don't just rely on your lecture and your textbook. There's a lot of resources out there. There's a lot of supplemental material that you can take advantage of. So definitely plug that into your weekly schedules, plug that into your semester schedule so that it's something that you're doing continuously. And another important thing to be mindful of is the environment of where you study, where you're doing your learning. Try to identify the environment where you are most productive. It is my recommendation that you do stay on campus as much as you can, and that you engage in the learning energy on campus and in the support resources. When you're on campus, you're around other like-minded people. People who are on campus, they're students, they're studying, have goals, and it's a good way to keep yourself motivated. Try to utilize the MESA STEM Academic Success Center as much as you can. Most of you should know that we have a study area in here, we have tutors in here, we have our small classroom in here. We're able to access books and supplemental resources. So try to study and plan out your daily schedule where you're putting in some study hours at the MESA STEM Academic Success Center. So STEM demands smart learning techniques. Your coursework in STEM all builds upon one another, and your classes are independent of your previous class. We oftentimes talk about prerequisites, okay? And those prerequisite classes that you're taking, all of that material and that content that you're learning in there, it's crucial that you develop a strong understanding and a strong foundation so that you're successful on your next course, so that higher level course. And even once you complete all of your coursework here at Hancock and you move on to the university, all of that material, all of those courses that you have gone through, that information is going to be very important for your success as you move on to your upper division coursework once you make it to the university. So take your classes seriously, invest time and energy into them. They're not easy courses. They do require a little bit more of you because you're learning challenging material, but these concepts are fundamental and they are imperative for your future success. There's interdependence of all subjects. You know, you might be taking chemistry and you'll see it later on in your material science class. You might be taking calc and you're going to see it later in your physics. So all of your courses rely on one another. So take them all seriously. Study groups are imperative. Try to participate in study groups as much as you can. Find yourself a study buddy in class as well, someone that is reliable, someone that takes good notes, where you're able to bounce notes off of each other and share ideas with one another, someone that you're able to work with. So, you know, study groups or study buddies, crucial for your academic survival. You're not alone through this journey, okay? So as much as you're able to get connected with your peers who are, you know, taking these similar courses that you are, the more well set you are going to be every semester to be successful in your courses. Tutoring should be utilized regularly in your weekly schedule. So oftentimes tutoring is seen as something that you use because you are failing a class. As a college student, you should be building in tutoring every single week, regularly. If it's a class that you might be having a little bit of a hard time with, if it's a class that you have a question on, utilize the tutoring, utilize it regularly. If you're studying in the Mesa STEM Academic Success Center, you have access to tutors. If our center is open, there's usually always somebody here. So make sure that you're checking out the tutoring schedule that you have access to online every semester through our Mesa STEM Academic Success Center. And STEM takes more time, resources, and effort. So usually we recommend that if you are taking a STEM course, that you implement the 3-to-1 ratio. And what that means is for every unit that you are in class, so every credit, so if your class is 5 units, 5 credits, that means that you are in class for about 5 hours a week. We recommend that you dedicate 3 hours outside of class per hour that you're in class. So for a 5-credit class, if you're following the 3-to-1 ratio, you would be dedicating 15 hours a week outside of class for studying, utilizing tutoring, working on homework, reading your book, reviewing your notes, previewing some of the lessons every week. You know, you want to make sure that you're building this into your weekly schedule. And if you're in a class that's not a STEM class, usually you'll do very well if you implement the 2-to-1 rule, which means for every hour that you're in class, so for every credit that you're enrolled in, that you're implementing 2 hours a week outside of class. So for a 3-credit class, you would want to be implementing 6 hours a week outside of class. And if you're able to maintain this, you're going to be very successful in your courses. You also want to be careful that you don't exceed the 70-hour rule, which means, you know, once you take in the amount of hours that you're in school, the amount of study time that you're building outside of class, the amount of hours that you're working like as at your job per week, if you have any other commitments, when you add up all that time, you want to make sure that you stay under the 70-hour a week rule, so that you're maintaining a good balance and so that we avoid that no burnout is happening. So now I'm going to be sharing with you some techniques to help you be successful in your classes. So some in-class techniques. Number 1, be alert and involved. So in order to get the most out of your class, you need to remain alert and involved. So you want to make sure that when you get to class that you are ready to learn and that you have the best attitude that you can have, so that you're staying as positive as you possibly can, because as you know, you're going into some challenging material, so you want to come in with an open mind and a good attitude. Be rested. If you get sufficient sleep, you'll have a better time paying attention in class. So I am big on making sure you get 8 hours of sleep each night. So try to build that in as much as you can into your weekly schedule. The more rest you get, the better you're going to be able to function the next day. Eat before class. Have a good breakfast. If you have an 8 a.m. class and it's hard for you to have a full breakfast, make sure that you're planning ahead and that you have like a granola bar that you can quickly grab or a snack that you can bring with you, okay? But do nourish your body, okay? You need to give your body that energy to be able to stay alert and involved. The more involved you are, the easier it will be for you to pay attention, participate in class discussion or activities. If the instructor is asking questions, if there's an opportunity for you to ask a question, if there is a discussion going on, please, as appropriate, make sure that you're participating and staying as involved as possible. If you're participating in discussion, you are actively engaging in that learning. You're sharing your thoughts, you're sharing your ideas, you're processing what you've been learning, and you're also allowing your peers around you to hear your perspectives. It's a win-win for everybody. Avoid distraction. So when you're going into class, when you have lecture, when you have lab, try to stay as present as you possibly can, right? If you have personal concerns going on while you're in class, there's probably nothing you can do to change those personal concerns, to fix those personal concerns. So, keep in mind that once you go into class, try to leave those things outside the door. Texting, avoid texting at all costs. Put your phones away. Put them on silent. If that's not enough, turn them off, put them in your bag so that you're not tempted to jump onto your phone. Stay off of social media. So if you're using your computer or your tablet to take notes, use it specifically for taking notes and don't be distracted by social media. Talking to peers, avoid talking to peers. It's good to bounce off ideas off one another, but if you're having personal conversations, you want to leave that outside of class. Music, have your devices turned off. You want to be as present as possible in your class and not have distractions going on like music. More in-class techniques. Be prepared. So for all of your courses, you're going to have syllabi. So make sure that you're reviewing your syllabi. It's a good idea to review it. The first week of classes, go through each of your syllabus for each course. Get an idea of what's expected of you, what's coming up, when your assignments are due, when your exams will be scheduled for. Make sure that you're reviewing this early on in the semester, but continue to access your syllabi for all of your courses regularly so that you don't miss anything and you don't fall behind on anything. Try to stay organized with a class calendar. Stay organized for your readings, know what the reading assignments are, and stay on top of them. So a lot of the times you should be able to find what's expected in terms of the reading in your course syllabus. So use that as a guide to make sure that you're reading the correct chapters. Be prepared with any needed supplies. This does not just mean a pen and pencil and paper, but anything else that may be helpful for your class. So if it's a book, if it's a particular formula sheet or a resource or a calculator, make sure that you have all of the supplies that you're going to need to help you be successful for any particular course. More in-class techniques. Be content ready, okay? Try to feel as confident with the material as you can. This doesn't mean that you have to be an expert or have mastered the current material, but it is important that you become familiar enough to feel comfortable with it. So how can you make sure that you're getting comfortable with the material? Number one tip is do the readings before class, okay? So whenever you do the readings before class, you're gonna get a lecture on those readings. That is gonna help you make connections, right? So if there was anything in the readings that you didn't understand, most likely than not, you're gonna hear that information in the lecture. Now you have already read about it, understood what you could. Now this gives you the opportunity to be ready with questions so that when your instructor is covering this material in lecture, you can ask those questions and really just make those connections of what you're learning in class and what you're taking from the reading. So my one piece of advice is that you do the readings for all of your classes. I know there's weeks where you might be overwhelmed with readings or where you just might have other assignments going on where reading isn't the priority. And if that's the case, skim through the chapters, go through the headings, pick out those key words so that you have a preview of the material before jumping into the lecture. The second part about being ready is to be prepared for the new material that you are about to learn. This means that you know what topics and what terms are coming up. So use the syllabus to be aware of the content that is coming up, do the assigned readings like I mentioned, and try to complete any practice problems as they are available. And like I mentioned, doing all of this will help you identify if there's any areas that are a little bit more challenging for you, if there's problems that you don't understand, and now you're ready with questions in class to ask your instructor. A few more in-class techniques. Take effective notes. Okay, so write in your own words, write what makes sense to you. Okay, so as you are in lecture, be present and listen to your instructor. Do not sacrifice listening for writing. You want to make sure that you're not missing any important material, but you also want to make sure that you're jotting down notes for you to review and go over later. Indicate important topics or terms. Try to utilize highlighters, color pens, so that you're able to identify those important topics or terms. Usually instructors will emphasize important terms or important areas that you really want to focus on. They will either repeat it, they will either, talk more about it, use a higher tone of voice. So make sure that you're paying close attention to those things so that you can also make note of that in your notes. Notes can be messy. That's totally okay. They don't have to be perfect. A good thing to do is come back to them later and fix them, rewrite them. That also helps you with studying the material because now you're reviewing the notes and rewriting them. It just allows you to be more prepared. Include drawings and make them large enough to annotate. So if your instructor is explaining a concept and they are providing a visual, try to copy that visual onto your notes as well if possible. All right, so some outside of class techniques. Study regularly. A piece of advice I will give you is study every single day, okay? And keep in mind that study can look like reading, studying can look like reviewing the notes, studying can look like talking to a peer about the material, working in a group on that material. Pay close attention to the study environment that you're choosing to study in. You want to make sure that it is an environment that's going to be productive for you with little to no distractions. Okay, so if you have been studying at home, make sure that you're in a good environment where you're not having frequent interruptions. Okay, and really assess where you're studying, and if that study area isn't working for you, then it's time to look for a new study area. Review your notes regularly. Complete the homework and reading assignments as they are assigned. Try to get started on homework as soon as it's assigned. So if you attend class today and homework is assigned, work on it right after class so that you can start getting ahead on it. Use supplemental materials as it's available. Utilize tutoring. Through our MESA STEM Academic Success Center, we offer drop-in tutoring. And like I mentioned, you can access our drop-in tutoring schedule on our website. Every semester, you'll have information about the hours that were available and the tutors that are available. Attend review sessions and organize study groups. Those are also ran by our tutors here in our MESA STEM Academic Success Center, and you'll be able to find that information on our website as well. Utilize office hours. All of your instructors have office hours set aside for each of the classes that they teach. These hours are for you. They're for you to come check in with them if you have questions. They're for you to come and just get to know them. Keep in mind that your instructors are here to support you. They want you to do well, but they don't know what they don't know. So if they don't know that you need additional help, if they don't know that you have questions, they're not able to help you. So please check in with your instructors regularly. And surround yourself with other students who are dedicated and hardworking. You want to surround yourself with those individuals who are positive, who are there to learn, who are goal-oriented. That will definitely keep you motivated throughout the semester. Oops. So some success tips to follow. Attend class regularly. It is essential. If you signed up for a Monday, Wednesday class at 10 a.m. for the semester, you're making a commitment to be there, okay? Of course, sometimes life happens, And when life happens, you want to make sure that you communicate that with your instructor, but don't just skip class for the sake of skipping class because you didn't set an alarm, because you woke up too late, because you just didn't feel like coming to class. Make sure that you're attending class every day that is scheduled. Be prepared for class, so complete all of your homework and reading assignments before attending class, and bring all of your necessary materials, so be prepared. Don't be afraid to ask questions. If you have questions, it's very likely that other classmates do too. Participate in time management. Some students choose to purchase a planner or agenda to help them keep track of important deadlines. You can also use a weekly schedule. And we have another recorded presentation. It's Academic Success Part 2, where I'm going to be focusing on time management. So if you want to learn more about time management, please make sure to watch that video as well. Understand the importance of the syllabus and refer back to it through the semester. The syllabus is your legal binding document between yourself and the instructor. Make sure you are aware of specific course policies and expectations. Don't let your social life take priority of your academic life. Social activities are important and can add great enrichment to your college experience. However, remember that ultimately you are here to earn your degree. Missing a party will not have the same consequences as missing an essay, exam, or any important deadline. So keep your priorities in mind, guys. Keep in mind that school is very temporary. I know sometimes when you think about being a student, it feels like you're going to be a student forever, but you are not. You'll be here for a few years at the university, then you'll earn your degree, and then you'll be free to move on with your life away from school. So, sometimes you might have to miss on some socializing, some fun, but keep in mind it's temporary, and keep school as your #1 priority. Get to know your professors, maintain good communication with your instructor. It is so critical. Don't feel intimidated, and feel free to hang back after class or stop by during your professor's office hours if you have any questions. Take advantage of the resources, services available to you, and connect with your success team. So be in communication with your support success team. Stay connected with your counselors, professors, and your MESA STEM team. We are here to support you. Your peers are also great support, so keep that in mind. You can utilize email, call, or set up a virtual meeting as needed. And don't be afraid to reach out. We are here to support you. Here are a few of our MESA STEM support resources. So in our MESA STEM Academic Success Center, we offer STEM-focused counseling. So we encourage you to utilize us regularly. We encourage at least one counseling visit with either myself or Christine Reed a semester. Consider enrolling in either STEM 100 or Engineering 100. STEM 100 is academic strategies for STEM students, and Engineering 100 is Intro to Engineering. So if you're an engineering student, highly recommend that you take Engineering 100. If you're any other major, I encourage you to take STEM 100. Attend our success workshop, utilize the free tutoring, review session, and organize study groups. Keep in mind, we have scholarship and internship opportunities and information available on our website, so take advantage of that as well. And don't forget that if you're a MESA student, you are able to borrow our textbooks for your STEM classes. All right, thank you for joining today. If you have any questions about this material, please feel free to reach out. Again, I'm Angelica, and I am in the MESA STEM Academic Success Center here at Hancock College. Have a great day.